Hello, I am Tarik Toros. Welcome to What's Happening in Turkey. The rule of law is no longer functioning. In recent weeks, Turkey has witnessed a series of deeply alarming developments that signal a complete breakdown of the rule of law. The country's leading opposition figure has been imprisoned for over 3 months, and this week's events make one thing clear. The presidential palace is leaving nothing to chance. A targeted legal assault on Ekrem İmamoğlu. Ekrem İmamoğlu, the mayor of Istanbul and President Erdoğan's most prominent political rival, is now facing an aggressive, multi-layered legal offensive. His lawyer was arrested simply for providing legal defense. Prosecutors claim he is part of a so-called criminal organization allegedly led by İmamoğlu himself. This rhetoric blatantly disregards the presumption of innocence. Just the day before the arrest, İmamoğlu's university diploma was revoked. The court had requested the relevant documents from the university. Instead of a timely reply, the university asked for an extension. But before any decision could be made, Ankara suddenly reassigned the judge overseeing the case, a move that clearly signals political interference. A political operation masquerading as justice. In today's Turkey, reassigning judges who don't serve the government's interests has become routine. But this case is part of a broader effort to remove İmamoğlu from politics using the judiciary. Let's recall, on 23rd of March, the day the opposition party was expected to nominate İmamoğlu for the presidency, he was arrested. Subsequently, 11 other opposition mayors from the CHP were also detained on allegations including terrorism, bribery and corruption. Hundreds of municipal employees are now under investigation. The evidence? Incredibly thin. Details leaked to the media show the charges don't hold up. Prosecutors have reportedly pressured city workers to confess under a controversial law known as effective remorse. CHP leader Özgür Özel and İmamoğlu both say the families of the detainees are being threatened. From prison, I will carry the weight of those signatures. Despite growing repression, İmamoğlu sent a powerful message from prison. Sign whatever they put in front of you. Your children's future matters more than mine. I will carry the weight of those signatures alone. This was not only a message to the public, but also a call of solidarity to his fellow detainees. But prosecutors continued the campaign. They opened new investigations into people who publicly claimed that confessions were extracted under pressure, showing that even speaking about injustice can be criminalized in today's Turkey. Beyond authoritarianism, systematic transformation of state institutions. What we are witnessing is no longer just authoritarianism. This is a systematic transformation, where state institutions, especially the courts and police, are being reshaped to serve the regime's political survival. Izmir crackdown. When lifestyle becomes a crime. One of the most chilling events in recent weeks happened in Izmir. As part of an ongoing crackdown on the Gülen movement, 45 university students, 38 of them women, were detained. 42 were later imprisoned. Among them was the daughter of an imprisoned teacher suffering from Alzheimer's, known for her campaign to free her father. Authorities interrogated the students with questions like, what do you live in the same apartment? What messaging apps do you use? Who pays your rent? Why did you travel abroad? Participation in religious study circles and spiritual events was presented as evidence. No acts of violence or illegal activity were cited. Yet these young people are now behind bars, accused of terrorism solely because of how they live and what they believe. A glimmer of light. Ümit Özdağ released. Amid all this, there was one unexpected development: the release of far-right Zafer Party leader Ümit Özdağ, who had been in solitary confinement for 5 months. His first words upon release were telling, "They kept me in isolation for 5 months. I did nothing wrong. None of us have any legal or constitutional rights left." His experience echoes what many are now saying, that justice in Turkey has collapsed. Double standards in foreign policy. Domestically, the government crashes dissent. Internationally, it treats carefully, particularly with the United States. Amid rising Middle East tensions, Ankara fears regional instability could spill into Turkey. And there is good reason for that. Turkey's deterrent capacity has significantly eroded. Military hardware is outdated. Foreign policy is contradictory. For example, while Erdoğan publicly accuses Israel of genocide and calls it a terror state, Turkey-Israeli trade continues unabated. One stark contradiction emerged last week in Paris. A defense firm owned by Erdoğan's son-in-law signed a public arms deal with Leonardo, a French company previously criticized by Turkish media for doing business with Israel. This time, the deal wasn't hidden. It was proudly announced. The final act: Erdoğan's regime in overtime. Turkey is undergoing a profound political and legal crisis. It's now evident the government is trying to prevent political change through legal engineering. But unlike in the past, the opposition is not being suppressed through direct confrontation. It's being quietly dismantled from within. People are being jailed without cause. Basic rights are vanishing. Everyday life choices are turned into crimes. All of this reveals a government that has lost its capacity to govern, economically, socially, and politically. The road ahead is filled with uncertainty, but one thing is becoming undeniable. This regime is in its final phase. Recep Tayyip Erdoğan's rule has entered overtime. No one knows how long it will last, but the clock is ticking. I am Tarik Toros. Thank you for watching What's Happening in Turkey. See you next week.